All right, I'm back as promised. So this is 90 Day Fiancé season 5, episode 15. And this is the point of no return. I'm gonna go through it because I owe y'all some more videos, but I'm gonna get through and give y'all what y'all need because this is what I have to get off my chest about the point of no return. Again, season 5, episode 15. We're gonna do Eric and Larissa. She's recovering from her surgery, and the entire time they show her eyes are closed. She's barely talking, her eyes are closed. That pain has got to be intense. And he's giving her pudding so he can give her medication, and she has to go back to the doctor 24 hours after the surgery. So it's exactly 24 hours, and he's getting her ready to go back to the doctor's office. And no shade or nothing, but you ain't even want to wash up. Like, she literally, now she could have got up earlier, washed up, and then got back into bed. But from the looks of it, she's in the bed with the pajamas on. He helps her get up, and they walk straight to the car. We ain't gonna just switch something around, but maybe the cameras ain't show that, but okay. And he's doing a good job on taking care of her, and he's doing a good job on his investment. I don't know if this man really loved her like that or not. I feel like he is taking care of what he paid for. Eric's home with his roommate looks to be the minimalist lifestyle. I'm assuming because that's how he keeps money. And maybe he does, because her boob job, her Botox in her lips, and her eye injections, and her nose job now, I feel like that's a lot of, that investment looks like more than his house. I'm just asking. But okay. She goes to the doctor. The doctor says she's doing well. You did the ice pack. She doesn't have any bruising. You're taking really good care of her. Yada, yada, yada. And then Eric starts crying because she's in so much pain. I'm like, oh, you love her. How sweet. Anyway, Angela and Michael. Angela is packing up. And I just love how Angela is just the real as they could be. She got her bra slung over the headboard. Like, I'm about to put this whole outfit on, so I'm going to put it over the headboard. And she don't care. She don't care. And she says that she got the call from her daughter Skylar that her mom is stable, which is a huge relief, and it's a lot of pressure off of you, because I cannot imagine being in Africa, Mexico, Jamaica, and somebody tells me in the States that somebody in my family was on ICU, and I have to try to figure out how to get back in time and like quickly. And I'm saying Jamaica's 2 hours, but like Africa International, a lot further. And I can't imagine how you have to, like, what is your emotional state? You have got to be in a panic. But, she makes it back. And she's just saying, my daughter did a good job, but I feel like, is it my fault? And I'm like, oh, Angie, it's not your fault. Your mom said go, you live your life. She lived her life, and she wanted you to live yours. You did that. And she goes, but nobody can take care of my mom like I can take care of her, which is sweet. And I feel like a lot of people who are caretakers feel that way about their patient and or their loved one. So she goes, I'm going to go back to the hospital. I'm going to come from the airport and go straight to the hospital. And she's like, I cannot imagine how this flight is going to be for me. Like, how can I be on this flight and try to sleep or she can't smoke on a flight because, that's her relief, her stress relief. And Michael's like, you got to be strong. And I know I'm going to miss you. I don't know when I'm going to see you again because, you're my wife, and it's going to be a long process. So she's like, they show her in the car. She goes, I got to try to get my tears out now because I know my mom is going to know something is wrong if I start crying. And I don't want to cry in front of her. I have to fuss and fight with her. And I am the same exact way. And again, this whole Angela that we seeing now humanizes her. I feel very empathetic for her. I am the exact same way. So like my mother-in-law was in the hospital. I would say, what you doing here for vacation? Oh, you want this vacation? You had to tell me. I could take you on vacation. Just trying to make light of the situation and make them laugh and feel like they will make it out, and you hope they'll make it out. So I do the exact same thing, and it could be a nervous thing, or it could be just how people perceive you. I am seen as aggressive. I am seen as mean at times. I don't care, whatever. But I care about a lot of people deep at heart, but you'll never know that. I don't know why. Don't push the pressure. That's what it is. But I'm the one that will come in the hospital. What are you doing? Get up and let's go. Just to, I can try to still be me. But, she gets to the hospital, tells her mom that she loves her. And then we see it pan over to 10 days later, her mom passed away. And she posted on her Instagram and she said it was really hard. And her daughter in the living room crying. And she goes, it's hard because the kids, all 6 of her grandkids, she was in the living room. So the living room was a focal point in any household. So you either had to pass the living room or next to the living room to see and see her mom sitting in the hospital bed with her tubes and everything else. So the grandkids sometimes are laying in the bed and they're like crying because they miss her. And it's sad. It's really sad. I wish and hope they would give us some background on where these kids' parents are. I think her daughter's in jail. And I think her other daughter's in jail. Or is it the father? I don't know whose kid. I forget who the kids. I think it's her other daughter. And the father didn't want to do with them. So a lot of those kids are her other daughter's kids. But where they daddy at? Can somebody help her? Like, that's a lot of kids. And Skylar says, Mama, when I was in the hospital, she said, well, I got to go to heaven sometime. And they say a lot of older people know when it's their time or they feel it because they say certain things and you don't want to hear it, but they know, my grandma included. She said, I got to go to heaven to be with my husband because I don't want all those hussies on my man. My grandma passed away maybe a few weeks after that. They know, and it's okay. I feel like if you've seen your kids grow up and you've been blessed to see the grandkids, you've lived your life. You've done what you had to do. Good servant, job well done, and it's fine. That's what I feel. No one ever wants to see their loved one go, but if they've lived their life and you spent time with them and you've done right by them and it's their time, God bless you. They know you loved them and you know that they loved you. And life can go on. And that's what I feel. What I don't like is the ones that are taken so soon. So the older generation, 80, 90, it happens. It's a part of life. We all have to get through with it, and it's hard nonetheless. So, prayers for Angela and her family, respect. Andre and Libby. Andre gets a lot of flack for him being such a narcissistic asshole and just being nasty and rude. But we see with her family of why sometimes he gets to be so dramatic and so extra, but it comes to them and how just ridiculous they are. So Andre takes Charlie outside and he's like, come on, dude, like what? He's pushing him like he a 5-year-old kid, like, go on, get outside. And Charlie's like, yo, you want to fight with me, bro? You want to fight with me? And he said, listen, I told Libby I'm going to behave and do my best at this wedding, but you shouldn't have did that. And they said going back and forth. And Andre's like, I know Chuck paid for the wedding. And then he goes, I know Chuck paid for Charlie's wedding. Excuse me. So what? Andre thinks that because he married into that family, he's automatically a blood relative. You're not. Charlie could have paid. He called Charlie a hypocrite because Charlie's mad that he paid for their wedding. No, Andre. The father paid for all his kids' weddings once. He paid for yours twice, plus airfare and Airbnbs. Like, are you kidding me? Are you trying to compare? You're not his son. You're his son-in-law. His daughter is the one he did it for. So calm the F down. So I don't care if his kids had 3-4 weddings. That's his birth children, and he has every right to be. You're being a lazy asshole. You are just doing too much for no reason, and be more grateful is all Charlie was saying. You have to be more grateful and be more appreciative of what I do for you and my daughter. And he shockingly said, Chuck, you're right. We had a lot of stuff between us, and I want us to move on and be cordial. And he goes, I know I've been wrong and been rude to you, and I'm sorry, and I want us to be cordial for my daughter and for yours, which was nice. Then Libby comes to Charlie, and I'm like, here we go with the fucking cycle. Like, they are worse than the Chantel and Pedro's family. So Libby comes to Charlie like, what, dude? Come on, really? This is bullshit. This is my day. And how they talk to each other is like, I hear you, but I'm not hearing you. And anyway, move on. But they just, whatever. Andre says, I'm sorry. Like, I worked out with your father. And then she starts crying, yada, yada, yada. Who cares? They wear me out. They're trying to get a spinoff show. Asuelo and Kalani, they see his family off. They're going to the airport. And he's like, Kalani says, it's going to be weird seeing Tammy. Because I don't know how it's going to go. She don't like me. I don't like her. But whatever. I'm not going to give her a hug. Then they go to see the mom and Rosa. I need somebody to tell me, is Rosa doing real sign language? Because sometimes her signs ain't really right. Like the I love you ain't I love you that I know in sign language. But maybe they don't have proper sign language teaching where they're from. I don't know. Because a lot of stuff that she do, that's not the same sign language I've seen. But, I'm asking. Because I could be wrong, but just somebody help me out. And his mom is just saying, thank you for bringing the kids by. I appreciate it. And then she said, where's Tammy? Oh, she left this morning. She ain't want to say goodbye. Tammy's still mad as all hell. And she's like, oh, forgive Tammy. She loves you. And, she tells Kalani, just take care of my son. And she goes, of course. And then it's a pause. And she goes, and before you take me to the airport, I need you to take me to the ATM for some money. I was like, what she asked for? And they look at each other and it's like, what is happening? And then she goes, I swear to, why are you looking at Kalani? And then she goes, oh, I'm kidding. And he goes, don't do that. You'll give me a heart attack. I was like, oh, I thought she was about to listen. I was surprised too. But whatever. Then they go on a date because she says, we've been going through therapy and oh, wait, sorry, let me rewind. I think if they would have said, Mom, here's $100, she wouldn't have said I was joking. You're going to test the water to see how far you can go. Then they go on a date without the kids, and they go and have drinks and like nachos, which is really nice and sweet. Because husbands and wives, I feel like, don't go out enough as a couple versus a family. And sometimes it's important, especially if you're having problems like them. And he's never eaten nachos before or jalapenos. And she gives it to him and he's sniffing the food. I'm like, oh, I hate people who got to sniff food before you eat it. If you don't want it, say, I don't want it. And he's like, I don't want it. She makes him eat it anyway and he likes it. So I sort of say, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying really hard to be, a good husband and a good father because Kalani scared me when she said she wanted to get a divorce. So I'm trying really hard. So then she says, she asked the waiter for paper and pens because they apparently had homework from therapy. And the homework was to write down the things that Asuelu should do and the things that Kalani should do. So that the waiter gives them paper and pens and they're writing down what each of them think they both should do separately in the house. His whole list was rake the leaves, take the trash out, and he kept putting inside and out like it's supposed to be a bigger job. And he wants Kalani to rest. And he wants her to do everything with the kids. And he does very minimal. So she was like, your list looks kind of like it's me doing everything. And he's like, no, baby, I help you. She goes, but you don't even have to feed the kids. He goes, no, I can't feed the kids. You can't put a spoon in their mouth? Like, oh, sorry, y'all. But again, it could be that culture thing. It could be what they're used to. It could be how they're raised, and that's what he knows. And we know Asuelu comes from a big family, but he's not used to this whole kid life. So I still say, if he wasn't ready for the first one, you shouldn't have had the second one, or you shouldn't have been in a position to have the second one. But he's like, oh, you are the pineapple of my life, and I want to be with you. I love you very much. And, I'm trying really hard. So then the camera shows 3 months have passed by and COVID started. So we all know in the beginning of COVID that we didn't know who, what, where, when, why, how. It was contracted, it's maintained, it's clean, nothing. No one knew anything. So she says, our relationship was already going through stress. And this COVID didn't make it any better because we all know we had to be quarantined. But people were still out there because we didn't know, without a mask, without gloves. Like, it was just so haphazard. Everybody was doing everything however they wanted to do it. How, whatever day the wind blows, how I'm going to work this out. And she said he keeps putting our family at risk. He keeps going out to play soccer. He's going out with his friends. He's exposing himself. and us to this disease, to this to COVID. I'm gonna say COVID, to COVID. And she put a tracker on his phone because he's stupid. He don't know he got a tracker on his phone. And he says to find out he's lying or not. So she said, I'm going for a drive, and she'll find out that he went to play soccer. And he's like, when he finds out that she knew, he's like, oh, well, baby, how'd you know? And she shows the phone, and he gets all pissed off. And she goes, well, I just told him he has to go. He has to leave to go to his mother's house. I don't want to be married anymore. I bought him a one-way ticket. Go over there. And I'm like, okay. That's what his mother wanted anyway. So all they're going to do is keep poisoning his brain because he don't have one himself to think what is the best thing to do. And she's talking to her mom like, I don't know when he's coming back. I don't really care at this point because it's not going well. Tanya and St. John, and Tanya is Tanya. So they went out the night before with his friends, and they were asking questions, and they all said the same things. And everybody has repeated the same comment. St. John is a free spirit. St. John is a when any which way the wind blows is where St. John is going to go. And his life has worked out well for him in South Africa. I guess life can be that way, but not in America. But Tanya, of course, goes in. He has to settle down. He has to have rules. He has to have this. He has to have that. He's not 10. You have to stop. I'm obsessive compulsive when it comes to order and the way things are. But you married him when he was living with his parents, working a part-time job as a bartender. And you thought him coming to the States was going to change because you live in a shed now? Like, come on. And his sister, so St. John's family was talking to him, and they were like, Tanya is different than how we thought she was, and if he doesn't get his shit together, it's not going to work. He can come back home. He agrees, and his mom was like, you're wasting your time, because Tanya is who she is. She's not going to change. She wants more, and you're not giving her more. Then they go and get ice cream, and she's like, I'm worried about the conversation we had last night, and it seems like we're running out of time and patience for each other, and I don't know how this is going to work. And he's like, it's tough to be able to come back from being so free and having just a wonderful life in South Africa to going back to cold Connecticut. And he goes, I don't regret marrying you, but I know we rushed into it because of the K-1 visa. She's like, oh, well, I heard you say that you don't want to be with me, that you don't like me, you don't love me. And I'm like, Tanya, just stop. Then last but not least, we got Colt and Debbie, and they're in the dining room, and he's talking to her, and he's trying to break to her about how he feels about not being heard, not being a man in his eyes for her. So he's trying to break they're eating macaroni and cheese. Mom, it's good, right? She goes, yeah, it's all right. He goes, yeah, it tastes like potatoes. What? Then his mom goes, are you okay? You seem depressed. Because I'll ask you how you are. Then you'll say I'm okay. And then you'll go away for 2 hours. And I said, let's be honest. Colt has been jumping from woman to woman for the past 2 years because you are still sucked underneath his ass. And it's Colt's fault and her fault. He says, I have to stay with her because she's older. I got to take care of her. But at the same time, she got to cook, clean, and she cooks all his meals, he said. And he's like, Mom, I just feel like I don't have any privacy. And she goes, how? I give you privacy. And Debbie's like, really? Okay. So she said, I won't wash your clothes or fold them or cook for you no more if that's going to help. And he's like, no, Mom, I just want you to back off when it comes to the relationship. I feel like you're so rough and aggressive when it comes to my relationships, and it's not healthy because I'm not able to think for myself, and I don't have to always tell you what's going on with me because I'm a man. Colt is, how you doing? I'm telling you right now, how you doing? It should be Colt's name because he's not straight. Be gay, be proud, be out. It's fine. And he's like, you treat me how a woman should treat me, not a mother. And I was like, uh-oh. And Debbie's like, excuse me? And she goes, fine. You want what you want. And she gets up. He said, Mom, please don't walk away. She walks away. And he starts apologizing to her for what he said. No, say what you say, mean what you mean, and do what you got to do. But Colt can't do that because he wants it both ways, and you can't have it both ways. All right, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. Y'all all caught up now on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. Talk to you later. Like, subscribe, and please comment. Am I wrong in my thoughts? I need some feedback.